What's up, fam? We are back once again. It is super warm out here in Austin, Texas, so we are just chilling outside and said, you know what, let's turn on the camera and let's chat. So yeah, today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about self-improvement and growth and healing, and more importantly, like investing in yourself. And I think this is a topic that I'm so passionate about because in this day and age that we live in, I don't think there's any excuse when it comes to like, I guess like the issues that you face. Like obviously there's limitations, like let's just say like physically and biologically. And of course, I mean, if we're talking about mental disorders and things like that, like of course there's limitations. But the majority of the time there's a lot that you can do about your situation, and about your own mindset and about how you approach life. And I think for me, I'm a person that really believes a lot in counseling. I mean, I've been in counseling for
5 years.
has it been 5 years, or is it yeah, I've been in counseling for about 5 years.
And you're doing it every week.
Yeah, either weekly. I mean, there were moments where it'd be bi-weekly, but I mean, I've been in counseling for a very long time. Not because I feel like I have some like major life crisis, pressing issues necessarily.
I think you like to process.
But yeah, I'm an external processor, so I need to talk with somebody to really loosen up the knots that I have emotionally and in my own mind. Not everybody's like that, which is fine, but I do think that external processing is important regardless if that is your primary way of processing or not. Because you can do a lot of, if you're primarily an internal processor, you can meet with a counselor, once a week, every other week, and then go and do the processing on your own. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. This is just something that I'm really passionate about right now. Limiting beliefs, I think, are really something that I'm like really passionate about, like crushing as well, because I think I'm going through a season where I'm doing a lot of new things that I've never done before, in terms of building a business, in terms of coaching, in terms of, I mean, I've worked as a pastor before, so I have experience in that regard. But yeah, I just think a lot of the things, or the main thing that really limits us is our mindset and our beliefs. And I mean, I see that a lot. So actually, just to be fully transparent, the people that I respect the most, especially when it comes to my clients and the people that I have conversations with on a daily basis, are the people that are willing to invest in themselves. Whether that's with me or with somebody else, right? I'm not saying this just for my sake and saying, hey, I'm saying this so that I could get more business or whatever. No, like find the person that's right for you. Find the person that matches your worldview, matches, that you really connect with, and be mentored by them, right? Why would you go through 20, 30 years of suffering trying to figure things on your own when you could hire somebody who's already at the place where you want to be and accelerate the process? And, rather than going through 20, 30 plus years of pain in a year or in 6 months or whatever it is, you can dramatically shift your way of life and get to your desired end a lot more quickly. So that's something that I'm currently in a coaching program where I'm being coached on how to be a coach.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. I dropped multiple $1,000s on this investment because it's an investment in me. It's an investment in my family. It's an investment in our future. When I look at just the price or the amount up front, it's like, oh man, that's a lot of money. But you can't look at it by the price. You have to look at it by the value, right? What value is this adding to your life? And I think that's really the thing that has shifted my perspective. And the people that have invested in, working with me are the ones that are like on the other side, especially after a couple of weeks of working with me, they're like, wow, like, okay, this thing far surpasses the price tag, even just in a couple of weeks, because it's about ideas, it's about beliefs, it's about a shift in perspective that will change the way that you live life. I'm talking a lot, so I kind of want to let my wife speak.
Yeah, so I had a coach last year, and that was very helpful for me. I know we would talk about my sessions, and I think that helped us a lot. But
In our relationship.
in our relationship as well, and also in how I see myself, my worth, and
Mm.
yeah, definitely correcting my mindset is a big thing for me, because yeah, I'm pretty negative just because of the things I've experienced in the past. But yeah, you sent me a website to find a coach or
Counselor.
counselor, and
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been pushing that, and it's just I've been busy. But yeah, I definitely see the worth in it, and it's just something that I just need to do. Let's
So,
just say.
so you sound like a lot of the people that don't work with me. A lot of the people that will hear it and be like, yeah, that sounds great.
No, but that's not even it. When
Okay.
I had my coach, I was scheduling like bi-weekly. It's
Mm-hmm.
just now the process of finding a new one.
Okay.
I think it's the one that I'm kind of like, dang, like I need to spend time
Okay.
and kind of like see if we match, if the person
Mhm.
is the one for me in
Mhm.
terms of counseling. Like for me, that's just such a hectic process that I'm dreading.
So, okay, I hear you. And I think I forgot where I heard this from, but it's a psychological kind of, phenomenon where if you don't know what the direct next step is, you don't do it. Because you see it as this giant obstacle that you can't conquer and that you don't feel
That's it,
like putting
yeah.
in the mental effort. But if you know what the direct next step is, then it's like, okay, it's more doable because I know actually what the next step is.
Right. So that's why you sent me a whole list
So
of
that's why I
counselors.
did that for you, because I know that, and I sent you that website with all the Christian, you can filter for Christian counselors,
Right.
and but that aspect, I can't do for you. So this is us processing, right? I'm not obviously condemning her. Like, this is just the process that she's undergoing. I have to go through the same process. And I think that is a conversation to have, because in reality there's no obstacle. It's a mental thing, right? The obstacle for you is mental, in terms of the effort that you need to put in to find a match.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is not really an excuse, but also being a new mom,
Yeah.
it's just like if you're gonna tell me, I mean, going to the gym is already such a hassle. Like the time to find the time to go to the gym, and then find that extra time for me to just be like, hey, I have my counseling now.
Hmm.
It's like tough. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you say to, like, me saying, like, hey, I'm willing to take care of Shiloh, do the counseling, go to the gym, do what you need to do?
I think her tummy hurts.
Yeah, it smells like fart.
She farted. She farted. She farted. Boom, boom, boom.
What is that painful face?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, but I know how busy you are too.
Okay, but I offer. You see, so I'm trying to push back because I think you're creating obstacles that aren't there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Or like even today, like I said, yo, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna take her.
Hey, I did a lot when you left.
I know, no, and that's great. That's awesome. But I'm saying, like, even in terms of like exercise, like, you got to take care of her anyway, so why not go for a walk? You know what I mean? So like I'm not again trying to pin you in a corner or anything.
And yeah, that's why I'm seeing the importance of the person wanting the healing, the
You have to
counseling,
want it.
the coaching
That's deep. There you
for
go.
yourself.
Yes. Let's talk about that. because I can't want it for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't want, you know, exercise or coaching or mentorship or any of that for her. She has to want that for
Right.
herself. And that's like the same principle of you can bring a horse to water, but you can't
can't.
force it to drink. Right? So even like there are individuals, right, that I'll talk to and they'll say, man, I'm so sick and tired of this addiction. I can't do this anymore. It's ruining my life. Like, please help me. What do I do? Like, I'm willing to do anything.
Then they're not.
And then we get on a call and we talk about what they need to do in order to find healing. And I talk about the 3-month process that I take my clients through and how they find healing at a deep level, their emotional wounds, their parental wounds, their current present day experiences that lead and contribute to this addiction. And I show them how we get there. And then they say, yeah, you know, like, I think I could figure this out by myself. Bro, it's been 30 years that you've been trying to figure this out by yourself.
Okay, well, let's address this part.
Let's go.
Financial.
Okay, financial.
Okay,
Let's
wait.
Let's talk about it.
This conversation, I'm gonna lose. I know it.
But this is, so we started with talking about investment, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's not just investment with your time.
Okay,
but
'cause
that's,
let me
go ahead.
explain. Chris is the type of person that would invest in himself. Like, you believe in that money, you earn that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, if being transparent, you got Covenant Eyes.
Yep.
You dropped almost, you know, $1,000.
Covenant. So for those who don't know, Covenant Eyes is a software that you put on your phone, that in all your devices, and it blocks, you know, adult content, adult entertainment. You guys already know what that is. I'm just not saying the word for the sake of YouTube not flagging this. And yeah, that's an investment in myself and an investment in our marriage and an investment in our family, because for me to be addicted to lust is for everything, including my own mental well-being, my own relationship with God, my own marriage, my relationship with my daughter, all going down.
Right. So for me, the way I see that, obviously you didn't just you didn't buy that on your own. You talked to me about it. So I feel like when there's an issue, like there's porn addiction in a marriage, they both want it.
Okay.
You know? Like the wife also has to say yes.
In a marriage
In
context.
a marriage context. Yeah, because for me, I'm like, I didn't care how much. I'm like, yeah, do it. It's gonna help you. It's gonna help me. You know, so. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, investing in yourself. So sometimes I think we idolize money
More.
over healing, over a better quality of life, over a healthy marriage,
Yeah.
right? And walking in your purpose.
I think faith comes in there too.
Yep.
Because if God sees that you're wanting to heal, you're wanting to be better, He will bless you. I see that now, because again, I'm not the type of person that would just go for something expensive like that, but I have seen the results in you and in myself. And yeah, you just gotta have faith that God will provide.
Yeah. Well, let's also acknowledge that you need to do your research, right? You need to have discernment as a consumer, as a customer, as a client, to make sure you find somebody that can deliver the results, somebody who, you know, is submitted to God, if you are a Christian, who shares the same worldview. Yeah, because you don't want to blindly invest in something and then lose all your money, right? I don't advocate for that. I say run away from that if there are any red flags. But at the same time, we need to. I think the more common issue, at least what I've seen, is fear. In terms of all the questions: what if this doesn't work? What if I waste money? What if I don't like it? What
You
if I
don't live
don't
like
get the
that.
result? What if I you know, me and Anna had a conversation about this recently. I choose not to live in fear like that. I don't live in the what if, worst case scenario, right? Because a lot of the times that doesn't happen. Like, be aware that could be the case, But I mean,
I'm still growing with that though, because I still have the what if sometimes,
yeah,
and it just paralyzes you,
right,
and it's just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do it because what if?
right.
It
So
sucks.
yeah, and I made a post on Instagram recently about this, that analysis paralysis will keep you in the same spot for the rest of your life. Whether it's your addiction, whether it's your financial situation, whether it's, you know, the state of your marriage, like to just be obsessed with analyzing to the point where you never make a move, like yeah, that's going to be more harmful, you know, than actually protecting you. So there's a balance, right? There's many different angles to this.
And one thing I'm gonna say too that I just like I'm thinking about now,
Yeah,
if you have to pay for something, you're gonna take it seriously.
yeah,
It pushes someone to like take coaching, counseling seriously if you're paying for it, you know?
yeah. My coaches that I meet with say that those who pay attention.
That's true.
And there's an example where there's this world class speaker who has events that he hosts, and literally to have a seat in that place, I think he's a business coach. He says in order to have a seat in that room for that week or that weekend, it's like $50,000 a ticket.
Wow.
And an experiment that he did is that he would give free access to his family, and they would come and they would be on their phone the whole time
Right.
because they have not put value towards that event and that information, right? So to give money to something is to say that I see this as valuable.
As valuable.
Money is just a social construct, right? Money is not like a, you know what I mean? Like it's not that the paper of the dollar bill has power. It's that we have given meaning to it. So money is value, and when you give money or you give value towards coaching, value towards counseling, you are going to like the way you treat those sessions, the way you treat that process, you are treating it as valuable because you see it as valuable. Because you say, dude, this experience is more valuable than the money, than the money on hand. Right? And I was hearing somebody else say, like, what is it like? We have this thing where we are obsessed with saving in the world, and
Are we?
and I mean, in like people who are financially savvy, and you know what I mean, like trying to be discerning with their money. Like the focus is saving, saving, saving. I have to save, I have to save. But what is that saving worth if you just die one day and then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I was listening to an interview earlier where this woman was. I forgot what she was. She was a single woman. She, you know, was living her life and she was saving for the future. And she ended up dying at like 30 something, and she had $9 million in the bank. And she was living below her means. She was, you know, planning for the future, and then like none of that money was worth anything. Right? Because I mean, she passed away, so she can't even use it, and she didn't even have family to pass it on to.
Now, there's nothing wrong with saving.
There's nothing wrong with saving, but my point is like money is meant to be used. And if there's something that's valuable that is worth investing in for, you know, to invest in your quality of life today, or the quality of your life for your family or your children or your marriage tomorrow, that's an extremely valuable thing, right? To have relational equity, to have relational quality is something that you have to invest in. You know, I mentioned this in an Instagram reel that I posted recently, that I think I receive at least $10,000 worth of counseling every single year. Right? Was that the calculation that we
I
said?
think so.
Each year, right? So I'm not saying all of it is out of pocket. Some of it is. Maybe, you know, a good portion of it is. Some of it is used with my insurance, right? Some of it is used in, you know, just in getting into the room for an event around people that I want to be around because they're at the place where I want to be, right? So this is what it means to invest in yourself, and I think we don't see that as important, especially in the Christian world, because I think we're so used to getting everything for free, right? We go to church, we hear a sermon, we go to the small group, we get discipled, we go on YouTube, we hear a good video. But when it comes to like one-on-one, when it comes to like really in-depth counseling for your situation or coaching for your situation, I think a lot of people have this idea of like, yo, shouldn't this thing be free? Aren't you my brother in Christ? What were you gonna say, Paul? You say Paul? Or let me say it because you might not say it. Paul says that the laborer is worthy of his wages. That's biblical. And what he does in scripture in the New Testament letters is he talks about the Levites and how they work in the temple, and how actually the money that is given to the temple is given for them to use, right? The laborer is worthy of his wages. Now, for people like me, or people that are therapists or coaches or counselors, they don't work for a church. So the way that they do the calling that God has on their lives, which is coaching or counseling, is through a fee. Because if they weren't able to charge a fee, they would be working somewhere else. I'd be working at Amazon right now. You know what I mean? Some of y'all know my testimony, how I was pastoring and we ended up leaving the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But basically, as I transitioned and as I was working at Amazon delivering packages on Black Friday and Christmas, and I was like, Lord, you have something more for me. Like, there's no way this is it. And mind you, I was working long shifts, and
it was not a safe environment because it was like really late, and they wanted to push you to keep going when the Amazon app itself said to go home.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer safe at night.
Yeah, that's a whole
time.
Yeah, that's a whole situation. Basically, yeah. They don't care about their employees, is the point. They want you to deliver the packages that you need to deliver. It doesn't matter if you're unsafe or not. That's a whole other conversation. But I believe that the Lord obviously poured into me a lot in the fields of psychology, theology, and the Lord led me to become a full-time lust addiction recovery coach for Christians, and it's been a blessing. I can work full-time helping people to overcome this thing that many churches don't acknowledge. Many churches don't address this. So, yeah, man, this is something that, if it wasn't for me charging, obviously a fee, and I don't want to charge a fee, but I have to because this is how I feed my family. This is how I make a living.
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, and, she can stay with Shiloh to take care of her and raise her. So if it wasn't for that, I mean, number one, I wouldn't be able to provide for my family. And number two, I wouldn't be doing this job. And I wouldn't be helping people because I would be so consumed on making money that I need to make for my family by working a job that, spiritually speaking, it's not edifying the body of Christ.
Well, another part that I want you to talk about is the fact that some Christians don't see therapy as necessary.
That's
for healing.
Yeah.
We've heard this before. I read my Bible.
Yeah.
I pray.
I just read my Bible. I just pray to God, and
that should be enough.
And I believe that God will help me. God will heal me. Now, this is not to negate the fact that God heals. God is the healer, the ultimate healer. But I do believe that, especially in the field of psychology, in the field of the emerging field of coaching, online coaching, there are people who are trained to help you process, to help you identify the roots of your traumas and your addictions and your issues. And it's the same way as a pastor is trained to be a pastor. A pastor has to go through formal education to teach scripture, to lead a church, to be an administrator, and to oversee the body of Christ, to build up leaders, to pour into them, to disciple. So, yeah, this is something I'm so passionate about because, to be honest, most pastors, and I'm saying this as someone who has worked full-time as a pastor, most pastors are not trained. I would say the majority of pastors are not trained to deal with psychological issues. And to be honest, I think people see pastors more than they see therapists and counselors and coaches, because it's like, it's a pastor, right? This is like in the church, like
Holy man.
it's the holy man. He's accessible. I can, talk to this person, whatever. And
But yeah,
people come to them with the expectation of, me talking to the pastor is going to solve my issue. But I have gone through training to be a pastor, and they do not train you to be a therapist or a counselor to deal with the deep issues.
yeah, and it's just crazy to me as you were speaking. So many flashbacks of like me hearing stories of even pastors struggling with porn addiction.
Oh, yeah.
Like they struggle too,
Yep.
and we've heard a lot of advice from them that we're just like, yeah, that's not it,
Yep.
So,
Yeah. So pastors, I mean, I'm going to be straight up with you. I did 3.5 years of a master's in divinity in the seminary, which is training to be a pastor. And I had one class out of, I don't even know how many classes I took. I took at least 50 to 60 classes, probably like around 60 classes. And only one class was on pastoral counseling. And even that class is not necessarily trauma informed and, trained by psychologists and people in that field.
and yeah, this is not you stepping on pastors, but
Yeah, I mean, I respect pastors and the work they do, but they're not the all-in-one solution for everything. And I'm saying that as somebody who has worked as a pastor. So we need to recognize the limitations of every individual. Pastors do great things and do, have a lot on their plate. It's a lot more than just counseling people. It's, overseeing a church and the finances and it's the meetings. It's a lot. So, what I'm trying to say is find in every area of your life that you want to grow in or that you're struggling in, find a mentor. If you have to pay that mentor to get to the place where you want to be, don't be hesitant. You spend money on a lot dumber things. Let's be completely transparent.
That's true.
Why do we hesitate to invest in our own well-being, yet we're so quick to invest on vacations, on cars, on clothes, on Netflix, on, experiences that are just entertaining, rather than investing in ourselves that we take with ourselves for the rest of our lives, that we take with ourselves wherever we go. So I'm just super passionate about this. This is just like a conversation that I'm like really on fire about, because your greatest asset is yourself. You know what I mean? So it's like I take our car to get the rim, the wheels changed, the tires changed, to get an oil change, to do all these things because it does a lot for us, right? The car takes us from point A to point B when we travel. Why do we not invest in ourselves? Because this is the only us that we have.
I was just gonna say that broken people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And I think we've seen that a lot with ourselves, and by the people that we're surrounded with, even family members. So, and we highly suggest therapy, but again, you have to want it for yourself. At the end of the day, I have to want it for myself. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you're the type of person that 200% believes in this. You've seen the results, and I've seen the results in you.
All right, fam. Well, that was pretty much it. That's all we wanted to say. We'll probably be putting out more videos as time goes on, maybe shorter. Send or comment any questions that you guys have, and we'll try to address them in the next video. All right. Peace out, fam.